Okay. That's the old radio my dad sat by for a number of years. It's made in 37, I guess, and you have a license at that time to have a radio. Yeah. This here was a butter churn that came back from Russia. That's well over 100 years old. Oh, creamer. Here, ship your cream in them. And old water pitcher and old ladle, and then here's your old, what do we call it, egg beater. And Mum used to make a lot of noodles in them, potatoes and noodles, and then you used to use them for turkey. A couple more ladles and your lantern. And old screens there, old that was my old sister. Mum used to cut hair with. I found it years later. She cut a lot of hair with this.
Did she cut the kids' hair with those?
Oh yeah, she cut a lot of her hair with that. Yeah. Another old egg beater. This was used to clean out the bottom of your. There's always ashes towards the bottom. And you use that to clean that thing out. Yeah, we came in here a couple of times at Christmas and had started the fire and had some soup on it.
So were those like the old irons that your mom would use to iron the clothes?
Yeah, that's one of them. This was one of them. Those were all hers too here. But this is the one that she used. A couple more over there. And old coffee pots, which was theirs. Old knives, some forks. I got some spoons there if you wanted to see some. There was the butter press. You press your pound of butter out of this. And some old dishes in here. Dad used these for repairing your shoes, putting soles on them, or heels, whatever it was. There's some more knives and spoons. If you are interested, I'll give you some of these.
Oh, that would be great.
We'll do that later on. Okay?
Yeah, that would be great. We'd appreciate that.
Give you a souvenir anyways. Here are some of their old metal cups. The pictures. Tin cups.
That'd be what they serve coffee in there.
Yeah, one time. And your metal plates. Some of her dishes. I got a lot more in the house, but these were the cups that I remember being used. Then your deep cereal dish bowls. Old ketchup bottles. Anything else that you?
So that big pot back there,
This here?
Yep.
Yeah. Used to make, for making bread, dough, mix your bread in there. Or in, yeah. She made a lot of bread and lived this here. And then,
This on the wall here, what is this here? This wood thing with...
there was two games there. You can play Chinese checkers or different games. And you flip it over and there's another game in it. This here I made when I was about 11 years old. Used to have a lot of power in it.
So what's this thing right here?
That's a cream separator.
Oh.
Yeah. These shards of discs get go into it.
And that's an old washboard that your dad
Yeah.
would do.
That was my mother's, yeah.
Okay.
That's for my dad, what your
dad would use when...
Yeah. Yeah. An old iron board.
Is that a grease gun up there, or...?
No, that was for Springbucks, DTT, which was banned later on.
Huh.
I got a couple of them here. This is the one that I know my folks used all the time. So, well, you can see how it was used up here. Yeah. They used that a lot for spraying your flies and mosquitoes.
Did they work real well?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But they banned the product later. It's no good for your health.
And then we can get that and...
Yeah, this is the original table that we all were on. That's the old table that was in here. That's the old one.
And that middle lantern, that...
Yeah, that's the one that we all used. Yeah. That's the...
So is this, you would sit around this table in here and eat your meals, your dinners?
Do your homework, your studies, yeah.
Okay.
If you looked around at the sod house, I put it on evenings, eh? Then it's nice to see the old lamp in the sod house, eh?
Oh, I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is a little mark here. We used to play with darts. Cousin and I, we made a circle here and used to throw darts at it. We were about 9 years old, 10 at that time. Yeah, the outline's still here. The home plate for us. I think all of us played ball and used to be home plate. The old summer kitchen. Used to sit back in here. A lot of skin knees happened down here.
So you use the summer kitchen as a backstop?
As a backstop, yeah. 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 And this wasn't where I hit my sister on the head with a hammer either. This the well my dad got dug in 1907, 1908, and we still use it. In the 30s, it was a lot of people didn't have water, and this is about the only well that had any sufficient water. They come and get water, and a lot of natives were going from one reservation that north of here, or to the north here, down to Fort Walsh or down to Maple Creek, and they'd stop for water here. Mom used to give them some garden produce, maybe some cabbage or radishes, whatever. She always gave them something when they went through. But it's 29 feet deep and it's Been used since. Good drinking water. We had it have it tested every year. It's good. And those are
Never been dry.
nope. You can pump it dry, but you have to do a lot. I used to have 80 head of cattle here, or 100, and then I'd have water. Those are old drill wheels stuff, wooden wheels. Old wooden wheels from an old drill. And that's a one bottom braking plow there. Hand drawn. Horse drawn to me. Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead and tell us about where we're at and what we're doing.
Oh, this is the sod house we built. And Pete couldn't be here. He is too far from here. But Lawrence spent a lot of time here. Jack spent a lot of time here. And my grandson and it was a family thing. Nephews and nieces.
Yeah. Built in the same spot pretty well.
Original spot, yeah.
100 years ago.
Yeah.
So what family members lived in the sod house when they came over?
My dad and my uncle George and grandparents. There's 4 of them here.
How long did they live in the sod house for?
I think about 7 or 8 years, as far as I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then they built another house, and there was an eating house that went up behind us here, which they lived in.
What year did you guys build this house?
We started on June the 9th last year, 1905, 2005, and finished on the 29th of June.
So it's just a little over a year old.
Yep. Hail did a little damage on it, but a plow wind came through here and it had lifted a couple of tile, but it did a number on the sod. It trimmed it. It was grass growing it green and caught a good part of it at the front end and on the sides, broke a couple of windows. But,
Will you take us through the process of making a sod house? How did you do it?
okay, first there's a bluff of trees just south here, in the middle of the field, tall. That's where we got the poplar from. And the sod we got behind this bluff of this tree here, there's the sod back there. So where we got the sod from. And that first plow is what we use for turning over the sod. And from there we put it on a little trailer and brought it over here. And after that was, well, it was all sweat anyways, it was hot. So we drank a lot of beer. Yeah. No, I just enjoyed doing it. I didn't know whether we could do it, but some people thought it would fall down, but I think it stood for a year, so it should be all right.
Was it a lot of hard work to build sod house?
Well, it's heavy work. It's all heavy work. These here, some will weigh about 80 pounds, some of these pieces. Yeah. Well, we figured there was probably close to, 2 tons of sod on the roof when they were wet. Yeah. There's a lot of weight up there.
So what gave you the idea of making this sod house?
Well, I thought of that a few years back, that if I could do it for the 100th anniversary, I'd build a sod house here, which we did last year.
So that's the 100th anniversary of this farm?
Yep, 2005, 100th anniversary. Yep.
So is this, did you make this as a replica of the actual house that your grandparents, or is this just a sod house similar
Just a
to?
sod house, yeah. I had,
We talk about the windows and the construction of the windows. How do you do that?
these are old windows, and these are from rough lumber, 2-inch rough lumber, and framed it with it. It had to be fairly strong for the weight. So And that's about it, I guess.
Okay. Should we go inside?
Now we can go inside. We had well over 2,000 visitors went through here in the last year. Yeah.
Oh, it has the electricity. That's a little bit.
Take a long extension cord. Yeah.
That's the hardwood floors they had, you know.
I'm gonna write that too on the caption. Hardwood floors.
What they did, they said
Trimmed hard, you know.
they used mutton. Well, they used to use cow manure in the water and salt. They flushed the inside with your inside your walls. Then they'd whitewash them. I wasn't going to go through all that trouble. And some done on the outside too. They plaster the outside. But they're warm in the winter and cool in the summer.
Yeah, it is pretty cool in here right now.
Yeah.
So is this like what the setup would be? The table over there? And,
Yeah, yeah. Most cases.
and is this the similar dimensions as far as size that
Yeah.
your grandparents?
The standard size is 14 by 14, and this is 14 by 16.
Okay, so it's a little bigger than the standard.
That's outside there, so it's a little smaller than. It's a little longer, but a little.
So
Pretty well the same size.
when your grandparents came over, they had 4 people living in this house?
Right. Right.
That would be a tight fit.
Well, they never had much for furniture. Chairs and beds, and a nightstand or a stand, and your stove.
So is this an old tub?
That's an old bathtub, yeah. Yeah. I couldn't run the plumbing down here. It was a little too far. So.
So nobody ever talked about in the interviews how often you guys took baths as little boys. How often would you take a bath?
Oh, that was in a rain barrel.
In a rain barrel?
Oh, yeah. One rain barrel.
Barrel, yeah.
Everybody would take turns.
Was it a daily thing or?
Well, it depends how dirty. Pretty well, yeah. Evenings, yeah.
And what would you use for soap?
Lye soap.
Made our own soap.
Yeah.
like I told
Yeah,
you.
this here,
The same for the
this
doing
is
laundry?
this is lye soap here. We made some for this occasion last year. That's lye soap. Not much smell to it.
It isn't.
Those are some of the old collars, my
Some of the old what? No?
horse collar, like
Oh yeah.
that Dad had at home. They're used on the horses. And this one on the outside, I'll show you when we leave.
These were kind of stove that kept us warm, you know.
Oh, that's what you use to heat the.
Light at the laptop.
And they threw out a lot of heat.
Yeah, I could light it.
They threw out a lot of
then
heat.
This is simply amazing. So is this what a bed used to look like when you were growing up?
Yeah, they had wooden beds. I actually got an iron bed that it was a little bigger that they used, but I didn't bring it down here. I didn't want to bring it in here, so.
Those had kind of lamps for years. Like I told you, I used 2 of them at night when they were home. They were light.
So who's in the pictures on the table?
This is Johannes Jahner. He was the grandfather that homesteaded here, and grandmother. And that's our dad, Michael, and Mom, our mother, are here. And this is the homestead, when he homesteaded a year. Date.
So how much land was on the farm when they first settled here?
160 acres.
How much land is there today?
Right now there's a half section here and another quarter where I live on 160 acres.
Okay.
We still got the homesteads, both of them. Yeah, these are some of the registers. This one's full, and this one's just about full. In which case you're going to have to register too.
Okay. I will definitely.
The one thing I couldn't get over when I was young, 75 years ago, I guess, they had a little slough down here, and there were just willows. I used to hunt jackrabbits in there, and they tell me they got these out of there. I couldn't believe it, you know, how they grew.
Yeah.
You used to hunt jackrabbits? How would you hunt jackrabbits?
22 rifle.
Really?
Everybody did that had a rifle.
Gophers and
But they
rabbits.
were just willows, and that's where the rabbits would hang out. And then they grew up like this.
Amazing. So that 22 rifle that you had, was that your dad's or was that yours?
No, my dad bought it me from the Army and Navy, $4.50, and with 100 BB shells included.
So were flies and stuff bad in these houses?
Yeah, there share flies and mice. Like they'd come through they have a lot of mice. But you get used to mouse, it never bites you anyways. It just runs around on top of you, that's about it. No, at that time there's a lot of mosquitoes that fly.
Okay.
This old stand came from that old kitchen. I just brought it down here.
Oh, yeah?
No, that's about it, I guess. In here.
How about you guys? Anything else that you can think of?
No, not the house here, no.
Okay.
That's about all.
I know we did a lot of sweating here last year.
Hard work?
It was hard work, yeah.
Well, it's wonderful. I've never seen anything like
It was
it.
hard work. Glad we done it though. It's turned out that it stood anyways.
So how long do you think it'll last?
Oh, if it doesn't get vandalized, it should last for quite a while.
How long did they last when you were...
Well, they didn't, because they didn't have the proper roof supports at that time. And that's what usually well, there were always water, did leak, and this one won't leak. But then I put a truss rafter in here, which holds all the weight, so it'll stand. If anything, I may have to replace the roof, but the walls will take it. The roof might wash down some, but I don't think I'll be around that long, though. Don't want to do that kind of work anymore.
The next generation.
The next generation will do that. Oh, it's raining out there.
Is it?
Yeah. You never got pictures of those in the house, eh? Which you're going to be getting some anyways, aren't you?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we should meet in time here.
So is it your hope that you actually get green grass to grow?
Oh, it did last year. Oh, yeah. Everything was green last year.
Because that helps it tighten up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If done for that hail, the whole roof would be green yet.
This one here?
But that hail did a number. Too bad, because
Yeah, they say, yeah.
it only so wide and it had to come through here.
I got some water for you.
Somebody's been using it as a wishing well. There's coins in there.
So is this similar to like a well you would have when
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
growing up?
Where the bluff of trees is, that's where hand duck well was. First one,
Okay.
grandfather had the coin in there. Yeah. And this plow over here was my dad's, the second one.
Oh, really? It was your dad's?
That's the one I was sitting on when I was about 12 years old.
Okay.
12, 13 when I used to work like that.
And you'd hook that up to horses?
Yeah, there's 4 horses when we're on it.
So what's this here?
That's a breaking plow.
Okay.
It turns it's different. It flips the soil over differently. That just turned it. This gives the complete.
Okay. So you would hook this on, and you wouldn't obviously ride on this one, right?
No.
So
No.
how would you?
Well, the original plow I scrapped 50 years ago that my grandfather used, it was at one bottom and you sat on it. And you had 4 horses on it. So.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't got that one no more.
Okay. And then this is the one that you were on when you were 12.
Yep. I flipped that.
You
One-
flipped it?
The reason to flip, you hit a rock and it flip over.
Oh, yeah.
I got caught underneath there. My dad come out and my dad, it's wet.
You don't want his butt to get wet.
No, I flipped and I got caught underneath it. My dad had to lift it off to get my ankle out of it.
Were you hurt when you?
I still got a scar. Yeah, I hurt my ankle, and this is one of his discs that he used.
Okay.
Water. They didn't have anything better, I guess, in them days.
And then that's how clothes would be hung out when you were
Yep.
growing up?
So, are you going to go in there and not take a picture?
I'm not going to go in the outhouse.
Why not?
I like outhouses.
For Christ's sake.
You could tell us a little bit about the outhouse.
Well, that's what they used. Those. That's not the Richmond one, but I moved it over out here for last year in case for anybody wants to use one. It's nice and clean in there.
Is it still set up like?
Sit in and I'll take a picture.
That's what I told her.
Oh, I am not going to sit in the outhouse.
That'd be the best picture in the world.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
What?
Oh, it's clean.
Oh, yeah. Even got a replaceable seat if you need it.
You didn't have toilet paper though.
No, he had. If they had, probably the catalog was.
Okay. Because I'm saying I haven't ever heard of toilet paper back then.
Oh no, no. No.
Okay, well let's go do the sign. Who made the sign?
My daughter Unity.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
amazing. We did a wonderful job.
I'm longing tonight once again to roam in a beautiful valley I can always call home. There's a girl I adore and I'm longing to see in a beautiful Yoho Valley. My little Yo-lo-lo-dee, I'll sing you a song while the moon's rolling low. My little Yo-lo-lo-dee, in a beautiful Yoho Valley. Oh, silvery moon, I'm so lonely tonight to stroll once again in your beautiful light. Your smiles came so lingering like the golden memories in a beautiful Yoho Valley. My little Yo-lo-lo-dee, I'll sing you a song while the moon's rolling low. My little Yo-lo-lo-dee, in a beautiful Yoho Valley. There you go. There's more to it, but that's enough. Oh, they're trying to get me to tell you about the time we stalked with the church and we put the steeple on it. I helped. I was only about 16, 17 feet, and Brother Jack were working there. A couple other guys, but anyways, right at noon, while it was lunchtime, and I took my lunch out in front of the church and sat on the rail that had a leg on both sides, and I forgot that my jeans had split, but I wasn't wearing any shorts. I sure got teased about that after. Girls walked by and they were all laughing, and I was wondering why they were laughing. And Pete will tell you about the horse church. Smoking horse manure. Okay?
Hey?
You want to tell them about smoking the horse manure?
I take the Fifth Amendment here.
Anyways, he got it going anyways. He picked up these horse punts, and once they dried off, you get this little hair growing around on them. Of course, they ripped the little hair off, and used to be just newspapers. You never had cigarette tobacco. Put that in there, and you smoked the horse manure.
It didn't take long for you to dry when you was about until you above, you know.
And the tea leaves, eh? Those tea leaves.
Oh yeah, they made lots of smoke.
That's about it, I guess. There'll be a couple other things, but we won't mention those, so. Okay.
I think that's enough.
St. Michael's Church, Tramping Lake. This church was built in 1922. It was finished, the inside was finished in 1927. And the steep...
Is this the church that you guys attended when you were kids?
Pardon?
Is this the church you guys attended when you were kids?
Yeah, and this one, the railings I was sitting on too, at that time.
So did you, you would drive, would you walk to church, or would you take the buggy to church?
Buggy in the wagon, yeah.
Would you come every Sunday to church, or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. What time would you have to leave to get to church?
Yeah, it's only 2 miles, so it wouldn't take very long.
Okay.
Half an hour.
2 miles
No,
away.
it didn't take that long, but it used to be before it started, you know, be here before church started.
Yeah, I think about an hour.
How big of a congregation did you have when you were growing up?
When they were growing up, there probably was 150 families.
Everybody lived here except the elevator man and a couple of other people that are English speaking. The rest are all German people, Catholic.
How
Yeah.
many people attend it today?
Oh, probably 75. Yeah, on a ordinary Sunday.
So when you were kids, was the church this big?
Well, the steeple wasn't on there till 1940. They never finished the steeple. It's just a cross on top. Then when they built that church, finished it, 1949. I think it's when we stopped with it, and then the steeple was put on.
I think that's when it was.
Yeah, 1949, I think.
Jack and I helped here building it. You know.
Really?
Yeah, we helped put the steeple on it.
How would you get up so high?
You could get, well, they had scaffolding set up on the outside.
All scaffolding way up.
Then you could get up inside from the inside.
One of you, and I'm not sure which one, mentioned having church picnics. Would you have them here at the church, out in this area out here?
At
Oh, yeah.
suppers and stuff, yeah.
Suppers out here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So what would they do? Would they set up tables?
Oh, there's
and-
tables set up in the basement and after picnics, Sunday
Full
picnic.
basement, you know. and
Sorry, they
lot of
used to.
activity down there going on. Movies, the first movies we had were down there.
Well, yeah, they have different games, Crown and
The
Anger,
original
and
church
different games
was,
set up.
was a couple of miles away from here, the first church, and then that's where I was born, raised, and baptized, and parents were married there,
Really?
and then they moved this year, 23.
So were you three baptized in this church?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Should we go inside?
We can go inside.
Tell us where we are right now.
We're inside the Tramping Lake Church. which was built in Roman style. And choir loft behind us. We got a beautiful choir here, German choir.
The choir was an all-male choir, and they had a competition, a provincial competition, and they came in second to Saskatoon, which they shouldn't have. They were the best choir, all-male. They were a real choir. Wish we had records of it. Nobody thought of doing it like it.
When you guys were going to church, was the services, were they in German or were they in English?
German when,
I couldn't understand.
whether they were in German, the sermons, they were all German.
They were all German,
Yeah.
even when you were going to church, Mike?
Just there,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, they were all German.
What about, how old were you when they changed to English?
Okay, probably the mid-20s,
Okay.
Yeah.
So throughout your childhood, they were all in German.
right?
When you went to, when you would do courses on, for catechism and for, was that all in German
That
as
was in
well?
it was in German.
Yeah.
Yep.
The seating in the church, when you
Right.
guys were going to church, how did that work?
They were men on one side and women on the
Yeah.
other.
Men on this side here, the women on this side,
Where did the children sit?
up front here.
Up front?
Yeah, because you had to behave yourself.
Do you know about when that changed and families started sitting
That
together?
came back in. That changed in the 50s,
Okay. Right around
early
the time
60s.
that the language started to change?
Yeah, yeah.
What was the older generation's feeling about the change from German to English? Were they accepting of that, or were they kind of hesitant?
No, a lot of them had picked up English already, so there wasn't really that much said about it. They couldn't say much about it because your pastors weren't German anymore or wouldn't, so they had to accept it.
Something that I've heard, and I don't know if this is with all churches, but when the priest was delivering his sermons and doing mass and stuff, would he be facing you when you were children, or was his back towards you?
Now it's facing you. At that time, his back was turned to you.
I don't
Right.
understand how
Hey?
I can't hear too well.
No, but their back was turned towards the people at one time. Then they changed that later.
Oh yeah,
They moved the altar to the front instead
yeah.
of having it towards the back.
Oh, okay. Do you know when that about changed?
It probably about the same
It's all
time.
Latin, masses in Latin.
Latin and German, yeah.
Is Latin still used today in the
I
church?
don't.
I think maybe, I don't think, but
No.
there might be, you never know. There's a lot of different churches, but they all seem to change about the same time.
Yeah, they're not all the same in different areas. Still the Old Testament.
So when you guys were young, did you enjoy going to church every Sunday?
Well,
Well, I don't know. I guess
you
probably
had
had to go.
you had to tackle on.
You had to. These
Well, I
are
mean,
avoid answering
we'd
the
as
question.
soon stayed home and played, I guess, but that didn't work.
No.
What was
We were all brought up in the church.
We had a pretty strict
Yeah.
priest here, an old German. Actually, he was the first priest with the
Remember that?
pioneers, Father Schwers. And he was strict.
Really?
Then we had a catechism, besides. And
I had my ears boxed from him a couple of times. Say the wrong expression in German. You went to school in just English, and you didn't bring it out right, and he didn't like that too much. And he snapped a few of our ears, or pulled them, till we had it right. So
What were the catechism classes like?
they just taught about the religion, and whatever, different prayers. And
Were they taught here or in another room of the church? Downstairs?
yeah.
Do you remember what your first communion was like?
I guess probably do, yeah, because there's a lot of them went at the same time, A certain part of the time of the year when they had communion, everybody went. Then confirmation is another thing. everybody went at the same time, you know, one day
Yeah.
a year.
How old were you when you took your first communion?
You had to be 7.
Yeah,
And what about confirmation?
Although it could be a little later, like
yeah, later.
a couple of 3 years later. It depends when
So for
the bishop.
confirmation, you always had the bishop come in for that. For communion, it's just your local priest.
Yeah.
So you all took your first communion in this church,
Yeah,
and you all were confirmed in this church.
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you would come to church when you were a child, what type of clothes would you wear to church?
The best that we,
Oh yeah, you always wear suits if possible. Everybody wears suits, yeah.
best clothes you could wear, and the women all wore caps or hats.
They all had it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You never saw a woman without her hat.
Really?
Oh no. Dresses, no slacks or anything. It was all dresses.
Do you know when women stopped wearing hats to church? About?
What's that?
In about the 50s, when they quit wearing hats in church.
Yeah.
In the 50s, yeah.
So there's a lot of changes that took place in that
Oh, yeah.
time.
In 50 years, there's a lot of change, yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
change.
Yeah, in the 50 years, there's a big change.
When you were young, you said that the priest was strict. Was he somebody that children were kind of intimidated by, or was he very approachable? I mean, how did you interact with the priest?
Father Schwers, he was,
You
he had, Father Schwers, if you want to know,
Oh yeah,
he was,
he
he's very
he had
firm.
some sermons, all right, you know,
But he did a lot for the pioneers.
but he was
He was
one of the pioneers.
real hardships he went through for the people.
But he was a good priest, though.
Oh yeah, he was a good
He was a
priest.
good priest.
So are any of you married in this church?
I was,
Okay.
yeah, to June here, I was married.
What was that like?
It was nice, yeah. Yeah. To get married to June in here.
Any of you guys?
No.
No?
No.
Just you?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about any of the
Statues. They came from a church at Winnipeg that they rebuilt, and they were selling these, so the parish bought them, and we moved them up here. Early 70s, in the 70s, we brought them here from Winnipeg.
I wasn't around anymore. I don't remember.
Oh no.
I don't remember them.
No.
So when you guys were children, can you tell me a little bit about what Mass was like?
Long. Usually a long mass. It took a long time
Oh,
for
yeah.
mass,
Oh, yeah.
hour and a half.
It all depends on how much you had to say, you know. And
Christmas Eve, they had 3 masses.
yeah,
Really?
Yeah, but the last year weren't as long, but they lasted 2.5 hours,
oh yeah.
3 hours. Depends how long-winded the priest was, I guess. But they were late.
So do you guys remember any of the old German hymns that you would sing in church when you were kids?
What's that?
Do you remember any of the German hymns that you would sing?
Oh yeah.
Do you guys
But
want to sing one for us?
Well, you know,
Oh, große, oh, große
say,
Gott.
you know the song, the choir.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all in Latin also, the choir, except in the end they sang Großer Gott in English, what was it? Holy Ghost, praise thy name, yeah.
Holy Ghost, pray.
Yeah, but except for a couple of songs, it's all Latin, you know.
Christmas carols, oh, there's different ones. That's when it was nice at Christmas time when they sang there.
But it's
Christmas
the
carols.
masses, they were pretty well the same, you know. When the Latin masses were sung the same all over, you know.
Do you remember any of the German hymns, though? Do you want to sing one for us?
No, I wouldn't.
I'd have to get the book. We still got some books here.
Yeah, if you would like to get a book and sing one of them, we would love to hear it.
Uh,
It would be beautiful.
Tree,
which one would you think of?
tree towers, picada, mundi. But otherwise, like I say, it's in Latin. If it was in English, you'd probably remember it more.
Yeah.
But it was in Latin.
God, I can't think of it right now. I think they got a.
Hymns. Pete, he can read German, but I can't read German.
You can still read German, Pete?
Pardon?
You can still read German?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never.
I used to be able to write as good as English almost, but I forgot that.
So was this, did it look like this when you were?
The only thing we had old wooden benches in here.
Okay. When did the pews come in?
That came in when we, around 65, 64, yeah. Yeah. Then I built this in here a couple of years ago. This little corner.
What's that in the corner?
That's where the priest used to change up there. But now he comes back here and does it back in there.
Where's the confessions take place?
Right below us. Oh, I'll go in there, you can go on the other side. When the schools were open and kids were still out there.
So what were the buildings that are in the picture?
Okay, my mother's house is right in the background.
Okay, your mother's house is right in the background, like.
I'll show you. She had, in fact, this house she bought, and she was living in, then a cousin of mine lived here, and then my aunt lived here.
Oh my goodness.
And then my aunt moved away, then my mother bought this house, and these were torn down, so she lived in this house here
Okay.
till she died.
And so this was the school right there? Where
Yeah,
all
school,
the,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is simply amazing.
That's right. Back here is our Knights of Columbus room. But the floor is heaved really bad in here. Used to have school inter classes in here.
Okay. So is this where catechism classes would be?
They used to have them in here, yeah.
Have them in here?
Well, we come in here, play cards here and here, different occasions. We got our booze counter. Yeah.
So when you were growing up, how many children were involved with the church?
Quite a few there would be. Quite a few there.
How many children are involved today?
Not that many.
Less and less?
Not that many. Boy, at that time they're 40 or 50 anyway.
So are you an active member of the Knights of Columbus?
Yep.
How long have you been a member?
I'm an honorary member, so I've been in it quite a while. Once you're 70 and over, then you're an honorary member.
Are your brothers as well?
Nope.
Just you?
Yep. I'm the bad one. I had to go. Casey.
You never knew your grandparents on your father's side, right?
No.
Okay. They died before you were born?
Oh yeah, died in 1920, 21, yeah. So, yeah. So right in the very back is one of them.
Were they one of the first people to be buried out here?
Some of the first, yeah. One of the,
When did this cemetery start? When was it first opened?
probably 1905. The first one that got buried here was 1906, I think it was.
So these type of stones where it's like all cement, is that pretty common up in Canada?
Yeah, quite common.
Okay. Because you don't see that in the States.
Not no more. No, yeah. This was now Not doing it anymore here either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because now you see more of just the
Just,
headstone.
just a plaque here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just hate stepping on them. Height. Oh, damn. Gutenberg. Yeah, he was one of the, she was. Oh, where's grandfather's? Oh, over here. Right here. That cross over here is our grandfather's.
Okay. This is where your grandfather was buried.
Yeah.
1918. So did he die in the flu epidemic?
No, he just died of. I wish them guys would come. Heart, probably heart condition.
Okay.
Yeah, he just heart condition. Pete will know because Pete was there when they rode into the yard. He'd know more about it. He was there when he died. Eh?
Did you ever get to know this grandfather? No.
No.
He died before you were
Yeah.
around
The
too.
only one would be Peter.
Peter's the only one that really. You never knew him either?
No.
Pete, you're in high demand.
1848. Eh?
I thought Pete said he died at 21.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your grandpa?
I just remember him living in a little room
This
at
one here.
Uncle Church's
Stand next to
house.
Oh.
And then I used to go and see him, and I was pretty young yet, but then I remember when he did pass away, I was standing right beside the bed, you know, I saw him dying, you know. But I was 4 or 5 years old, and I guess, you know, 5 years, I guess.
Do you remember his funeral at all?
And what?
Do you remember his funeral at all?
No.
No.
Grandmother's is over here. It was moved, but she was buried over here, this area. When they cleaned up the cemetery, they moved some crosses, and hers was one of them.
Okay.
It's the very last one. Here's another iron cross. That was her. She died in 1914.
Which one is no?
Uncle, grandfather, Jahner's, Francis Birch.
So that's your
Grandfather
grandmother?
Jahner. Grandmother Jahner.
Oh, grandmother, yeah.
Yeah.
So none of you got to know her?
No.
No.
She
Do you
died,
know-
no, I died in 1913. You know,
14,
I was born
yeah.
in 14.
14,
Do you know how she died?
1914. Cancer.
Cancer?
Cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grandfather wasn't sick at any long time because he just, like I said before, he just came home from a wedding or something. He didn't feel good, and he said he'd go home by himself. And then when they came home later, Uncle George, he was dying, you know. And Uncle George called us, you know. He came up on horseback, and all he did is wave. And
She's only
he knew
60 years
some
old, too.
songs, so
Hmm?
he
She's
got down there
60.
when he's just dying, you know. But he hadn't been sick or anything. Our grandfather, Lemmy, he suffered a lot.
When they were
before he died.
vaccinated,
So
coming across on the
your
boat.
your grandmother and
Oh,
grandfather
sorry.
died, how old was your father?
Yeah, she got the dirty needle.
Oh, dirty needle. Oh, that's how she died.
She was married in 14, and he was 24 years old.
Cancer on her arm.
Okay. Okay. So he was pretty young then when he lost both of his parents.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
before they were married.
And where are your mother's parents buried?
Okay.
She went by Katie when you guys talked about her. This was Katie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys want to tell me a little bit of what Katie was like?
They'll know. Yeah.
Well, she had just started school about a year or so.
10 years old.
You didn't want this on eh?
Used to help her with her schoolwork, you know, after school, the evenings. I'd help her with her schoolwork. Yeah.
Was she a fun little sister?
Oh yes, and she was really curly-headed, really curly hair. She just went to school about a year with me, I guess, or 2 years maybe.
I remember.
I'd help her in the evening, like with her homework.
Do you remember her too?
Yeah, when they took her to Crawford, she was sitting at Grandma's in the chair. Then she had ruptured appendix. That's what happened. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
When her appendix erupted, was she in a lot of pain? Was it pretty hard for her?
Well, she only lasted about 5 days in the hospital. Busted the ruptured appendix. That's what she had. She was in a lot of pain before she got there. Then she had to go by train down to Crawford, you know, by train. It took a while, to, you know.
You know, like a lot of
She
people died
suffered
of
a lot
ruptured
before she got
appendix, you
in
know.
there, and then she only lasted 5 days and she was gone.
Did somebody stay with her at the hospital?
I imagine.
We just went to visit her. I think Mom stayed with the last day or so, yeah.
Okay. Do you remember what her funeral was like? No, you
No, I
don't
don't.
remember? Do you remember her funeral?
Oh, you must do.
I sure do.
What was that like?
Well, I mean, just like losing a sister, I guess like losing a daughter, you know. It's hard. I know it was hard on me because we were pretty close, you know. She was next to me. Pretty close. I took it pretty hard, anyhow.
What time of year did she die in?
April.
Yeah, I think so. It's April, Pete.
April, yeah.
Okay.
And Francis died in, I don't know, February, I think. Yeah, both in the winter time, you know. We had to go by sleigh to see him. We wanted to go and see him.
When you would have a funeral back then, how would they keep the body in the house? I've heard that they kept the body in the house. So was she in the house for some time?
Until the grave was dug. It's usually kept in the house there too. Yeah.
When you had the funeral service back then, how was it? Did they go to church and have a service and then come out to the graveyard, or
Right.
what?
Everybody, that's in here the same thing. Went to church and had a mass for him, and then the procession, you know, who big the family was, and then horse and bucky.
It's Ron Kraft's dad.
And they'd all come out here.
Flags. I thought maybe they're.
And somebody dug the graves beforehand, and I was stuck for quite a few of them, having dig the grave, you know.
Really? So why doesn't she have an Iron Cross? Was it something that didn't happen at that time?
No, there was no more blacksmiths around at that time.
Would they sing German songs out here at the gravesite when she...
Yeah, girls, yeah.
Do you remember the names of any of them?
Yeah. Der Schicksal wird keine vergeben. The Schicksal in German, you know.
Yeah.
The choir, usually some of the choir was here and sang.
How long
They
did...
all sang the same. The Schicksal is, you know, yeah. That's a burial song more.
Okay. How long did the service last?
Not very long. Only 15 minutes, 20, you know.
Oh, okay.
Just the priest came out and then the choir sang. But, you know, you probably started covering up already by the time they finished singing, you know.
Was it pretty hard for your mom and dad?
Oh, yeah.
Who knew your grandfather, Lemaire? Who
Pete.
knew him?
Pete did.
Mostly, yeah.
What's
Pete, you knew your grandpa?
Lemaire. Grandfather Lemaire, you knew him.
Well, I knew him a little bit. I was 6 years old.
I was 16, 17 years old, you know.
Okay.
I knew him.
I was 6 years
You did
I
too?
remember him very
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What type of a person was he?
Quiet. Very quiet man.
The second town there.
Well, he wasn't.
But every day, pretty every day he'd come out, that little, one horse and a little box.
He was
You know,
crippled up
farm.
from fetal
Remember
failure,
that, no?
He was crippled?
arthritis.
Arthritis so bad.
Pete, right? You tell her about grandfather Lemire. He was in the war.
Yeah, I told him that
Yeah, well,
Dave was in the Russian-Turkish War
Mm-hmm.
for 2.5 years, I guess. And he was the only German soldier in the army. Now, read today that when she brought him over, Catherine the Great, they didn't have to join the German army.
No.
I mean the Russian army. But then later on they changed it to
Yeah,
conscript
yeah.
him, so we don't know whether he must have volunteered, because my grandma said he was the only German soldier in the army, so maybe he volunteered, you know. They were getting 50 rubles or something like that for joining up, and a couple of benefits, I guess.
he had arthritis bad from the wet and the cold, and right.
Yeah.
So do you hear arthritis bad from?
Oh yeah, it's like dancing like this, you know, in toast same way. Like
Grandfather.
I said today,
Oh, yeah.
you
Oh,
could never wear boots. He always wore 2 buckle overshoes. Because it's all, no boots would fit him. His toes were something like this too, you know, all in all. Laying in the trenches, you know, that's where you got it.
So was he a good grandpa to you guys?
Well, he was a good man. Like I say, he was quiet, very quiet man.
I know that you had mentioned that you would go visiting often, but did you two get to visit him often?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was 10 years old, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Jack was 8.
Oh, yeah, I remember him,
Do you guys remember his funeral?
yeah. Yeah.
What was that like?
Just every funeral was the same pretty well.
Same
The
group
priest came out and blasted, and then the choir sang. I still know every word of that song that they sang. Every word of it. I heard it so often that
Oh yes, good. No.
burial song, like, you know.
Can you sing it for us? Can you say the words for us?
Yeah,
Okay.
der Schicksal wird keine vergeben. That means der Tod versöhnt Seele und Leben. Heute ist das deutliches Glück. And then it ended up der Schicksal. Heute, I remember the last part. There's the middle part I got trouble with.
Yeah.
I would get it if I had time to think of it, but it's been
Well, if you think of it, you can always
so
come back
many,
and...
many years.
How about your grandmother?
Told or something.
We know her well, yeah.
I remember her
The
sitting
life from
3 years old.
Dat hen was so erg gekommen. And I could get it all if I had time to think of it, you know.
What was your grandmother like?
That's
His grandmother, you
That's
know.
where that, where we had today, that's where she lived.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
In that house? In the house that we did the filming in?
But most of the boys remember grandma, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I just remember her sitting
So-
in the, that's when I was sitting in the rocking chair with.
Irene is your younger sister, right?
Yep.
Did she get to know your grandmother?
No, she,
No.
no, she was born in 1939.
And then Margaret. Who is Margaret?
That's was a sister to my mother. Eh?
How did she die?
Who? Margaret?
Yeah, Margaret. Myanmar.
Oh, Margaret Weimar was the sister to Mum, yeah.
Yeah. How did she die? You asked. Do you remember?
About 1933, I think.
What did she die from?
Childbirth. That's where
That's right, too.
childbirth, the youngest one,
Margaret?
was Jackie, you know, and
Oh, Margaret.
Okay.
Margaret was,
That was the youngest one. Was,
yeah, from Weimar's.
Yeah.
But from the writers,
Oh, yeah.
not Jackie. Yeah, Jackie was the youngest, because she couldn't, and that's why Philip ended up with Paul Ryder. She couldn't look after him, you know.
Yeah.
But she died in 33. I think Grandpa died first, 30.
Yeah. Yes, that's it. Any
Your sister?
else?
Your other
It's
sister?
just over here.
This is your other sister?
Yep. Yep.
And did you guys get to know her?
Francis, yeah.
She died an awful death, didn't she? She died hard, Frances. Frances, she died hard.
She sure
I
did.
remember they pulled out all her teeth.
Katie, she went fast, but she
Pulled
died.
out all her teeth. She had no teeth left. And then she ended up with big boils. So
She had no teeth left?
there were a lot of teeth out. He thought that that was infected too. But because the doctor, the children, we always think it's the doctor, Both my sisters died from appendix operation.
How old was she when she
14.
14? Do you want to tell me what she was like as a sister?
She was nice sister. She was also pretty quieter than the rest of them,
I was just still young, 15, 19. I was 12 when she died.
Were you close to her?
Huh?
Were you close to her?
Yeah, well, we're all close. Yeah. We're all
We were all close.
Oh, yeah,
We might
that's
say
just
we
it.
were a close family.
We were a close family. And that big a family they always are.
How close in age were you to Frances?
Well, I was
Well, I think the age then subtract from
She was
there.
1918 she was born.
Or add,
1918 you were born in 20?
22.
22, 4 years difference.
Okay.
guess your mic, you never did change it, eh?
No, they never, he punched that in there and he never changed it.
She died in 33, yeah.
Oh, there's the wrong year in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Anybody else out here? Your wife, I know that.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Your
that's
first wife.
family-wise. No, there's my uncle. They're all buried out here,
Okay.
but my wife's buried over here. And that's about it, I guess.
What would we do without
I can't hear it, can't hear it.
Okay, and so this is your mom and your father.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, your dad died first, so let's talk about your dad for a while. What type of a person was your dad?
Quiet person.
Didn't harm anybody, that man.
No.
No.
Yeah, Dad had to go young, 63 years old.
Died of,
Yeah.
died of cancer. Had a hard life, poor, all their life. They saw tough children.
Was he a good father?
Oh yeah. Yeah. For sure.
What time of year did he die?
June.
It was in June.
June, yeah.
June the 28th.
June the 30th.
30th? Yeah, 30th.
29th or 30th.
Yeah.
Because I know first I had to help dig the grave. Nobody could get any help. 1st of July is when we dug the grave, so he might have died in 29th or 30th.
29, he died.
Well, I
29.
think it was 29th.
Yep.
And your
No,
mother?
I'm sure it was 29th.
Yep.
Mother,
74, she died.
Huh?
Mum, she died in 74.
What type of a person was she?
Nice, hard-working.
Hard,
Good cook.
Good cook?
but she did her help. They listen to Mum. They had to listen to Mum. She laid down the rules.
Yeah.
No, Dad never raised a hand, but if he needed the spanking, Mum did that, looked after that.
She had to do all the...
All the tough work?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what. Then everybody looked up to their dad. No, she was a good woman. Good hearted woman.
Remember she just had a stroke, you know, when she died. But Dad suffered a lot.
Did he,
But
before he died?
Oh,
cancer,
yeah.
How long was he sick before he died?
Not that long.
Well, yeah, he.
They were in Saskatoon. They were in Saskatoon Hospital first, and then they brought him back to Rocky Hospital and came home for a few days and went back to the hospital again, and Dad was sick.
He got kicked in the stomach by a horse, and he got a tumor out of that. Yeah, that was about a year before that, winter time. Yeah. Yeah, then he had gallblading cancer when it hit the.
I know I was down east, and Mum wrote a letter that come home. That was saying that was in March, and he died in June. So you know that's how long it took him.
Yeah. But he was skin and bone in them 3 months.
Oh, he had trouble putting a needle in him. You know, the skin was already sort of hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Mum and Dad. I guess that's it.
Father, mother. Well, we gotta go to his wife's grave.
My wife's here.
This is your wife here?
Yeah.
You want to tell us a little bit about how you met your first wife?
Oh, I met her in Edmonton. I worked we worked with Lawrence in the bar, and I met her through a blind date through a friend of mine, and another supervisor, and that's where I met her.
How long did you date her before you got married?
Oh, it's about 2 years. Yeah,
Okay.
about 2 years. Yeah.
What type of a person was she?
Well loved. She was she was a good woman. She knew more people in the area than I did.
Yeah.
She had a lot of, everybody was her friend.
Yeah, I can see that for you, Michael.
Hey?
I can see that for you.
Yeah.
She was a good woman.
Yeah.
How did she die?
She did cancer. She deserved that. A woman should die that way. A friend shouldn't die like she did.
What type of cancer did she have?
First it was breast cancer, then it hit the ovaries. That's it.
Yeah, I
Then,
had a breast off and she was alive for quite a while, but then she just...
well, when she had her first operation, the doctor said she's in real bad shape. He said if she makes the first 6 months, he said she'll make 5 years, and she lived 5 years.
Yeah.
But she was cut right from here to her toe away. Yeah. She broke her thigh laying in the hospital. They sat her up and she was weak. The nurses weren't there. She fell over with her plate and she broke her thigh, and she laid there for 2 weeks before they did anything. Then I did rush her. They had some strike on, and I took the plates to Saskatoon. I had to drive them in Saskatoon. Then they had to come back and load her up. There's a wicket.
How old were you when you got married to her?
28.
28. How old was she?
She was 5 years younger than I am.
Okay. And how long were you married to her?
15 years.
Okay. Is she the mother of your children?
Yep.
How many children did you
5.
5?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. How old were they when she passed away?
Wendy, the youngest, was 2.5. And the oldest boy was 13.
So do they have a lot of memories of her, or?
Oh, yeah. My daughter, she won Junior Citizens Award from the Saskatoon. She got for looking after the children. She went to Saskatoon and she got presented with a medal for it.
Yeah, she done a good job.
Yeah, she raised the family.
Yeah, she really did.
12 years old, and she...
Still is a great girl.
Well,
Hey.
thank you.
Yeah.
This has been